Dear learners, today's MOOC will be on the unit Social Control of Body from Module 5 Gender and Health. I am Rajmi Mahanta, Assistant Professor, Sociology Department, KK Hendick State Open University. Before starting with today's lecture, let us know what social control means. Social control is referred to as the use of social pressure to control conduct. Individuals learn to control their own behavior due to community pressure and taboos. There are two types of social control. They are informal and formal. The formal social control is used by government, religious bodies, and other institutions, while informal social control is used by families, friends, peers, etc. With that, let's get on with today's main topic, that is social control of body. Social control of body. Bodies are socially constructed in material and cultural worlds, which means they have both physical and symbolic significance. Though physical appearance plays an important role for both men and women, it is of much central importance when it comes to evaluating a woman. Women over centuries have continuously tried to adapt and fit into the social construction of beauty. Body weight has long been a marker of social status. Plumpness in women is specially prized. A young girl's look is physical evidence of her father's and later her husband's wealth. Being fat signifies that her labor is not needed, making fat women the ultimate trophy wives. Until the early 20th century, women in the United States and Europe strived to be fat, not thin, at a time when food was scarce and plumpness signaled wealth, while thinness suggested illness. Beauty as a social construct depends on factors like class, race, ethnicity, etc. Thus, cultural values have all along shaped the construction of social problems, which has resulted in social inequalities. Women have over the years fallen prey to the socially constructed idea of beauty and attractiveness. They have all along been held by hegemonic discourses of beauty standards that are socially prescribed and nearly unattainable for most women. Fat people are often thought of as being self-induced, self-indulged, lazy, and lonely. Obesity has significant associations with ill health and shortened life expectancy. Thinness, on the other hand, is associated with beauty. Thus, there is a constant desire among women to be thin and a constant fear of becoming fat. Now, let us discuss some of the important ways that links bodies to social control. Clothes. In the name of fashion, especially for the women, it is uncomfortable that fashion is the one that serves us. We should be dressing to move, breathe, and live instead to fit some imposed idea of what attractive or trendy is. Unachievable standards of beauty. This teaches us to objectify and hate ourselves. The cultural ideology saturates our idea of ideal beauty. The mass media offer important primary sources for cultural and social research. Television, radio, magazines, newspapers, and internet. These contents provide a sensitive barometer for social processes and changes. Once created, these texts remain unchanged and available for analysis, making them ideal for the study of attitudes, concerns, ideologies, and power relations and how they shift over time. As much social media promotes healthy lifestyle, social media can negatively impact how young people and adults view their bodies. Now, let us discuss few such effects of negative sides of social media in terms of setting beauty standards. Number 1, unrealistic beauty standards. We have already discussed about it, but let us look deeper into it. Unrealistic beauty standards. Social media platforms often feature images of people with seemingly perfect faces and bodies. often using filters and photo editing tools to enhance their appearance. This can create unrealistic beauty standards, leading to body dissatisfaction and low self-esteem in both women and men. Number 2, comparison and competition. Social media can create a toxic culture of comparison and competition where individuals compare their bodies to others and strive to meet the same beauty standards. Next, cyberbullying. Social media can be a breeding ground for cyberbullying, where people are attacked for their body size, shape, or appearance. This can have a damaging effect on body image and self-esteem. Next, worsening of body image disorders. Social media can make just about anyone feel like they don't measure up, but it's even more detrimental for people with eating or body image disorders. Now we will discuss about early feminist works that examined the fashion media, demonstrating how fashion magazines and advertisements convey the audience on the importance of slenderness and shame of fatness for women. Anthropologist Mimi Nitscher has argued that such images contribute to negative body image and eating problems among young girls. This aspect has directly led to a boom in cosmetic industries, surgeries, and dieting, which has led to various lifestyle changes in women. Sociologists note that the body has today been reduced to a site that people work on. Giddens argues that in contemporary society, individual identity has been reduced to something on which people work at. People today often use their bodies to consciously construct an image which they want to present to others as their real selves. Giddens calls this reflexive mobilization. Chris Schilling found that people are increasingly seeing their bodies as unfinished products or projects for improvement. Compared to men, women are held to higher standards of thinness and suffer if they fall short in terms of marriage prospects as well as employment due to them being fat. Now we will discuss about a few measures that are taken to enhance body image. In an era where thin body is celebrated and is often associated with femininity, dieting occupies a prominent place in the lives of women who are repelled and terrified by the stigmatized stereotype circling fatness. Dieting implies restriction, limitation of pleasurable foods and drinks despite having no benefits. Aggressive dieting lowers the basic metabolic rate, meaning one burns less energy when resting, resulting in significantly lower daily needs in order to sustain achieved weight after the diet is over. Dieting has a role in the evolution of anorexia and bulimia. The consequences of dieting, which are mostly the product of psychological effects of starvation, are important preparators of illness and serve to intensify dieting and weight loss. Dieting emphasizes food as good or bad, as a reward or punishment, and increases food obsessions. It does not teach healthy eating habits and rarely focuses on nutritional value of foods and the benefit of regulated eating. Unsatisfied hunger increases mood swings and risk of overeating. Restricting food despite drinking enough fluids can lead to dehydration and further complications like constipation. Dieting and chronic hunger tend to increase dysfunctional behaviors like smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol. Plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is a range of procedures that reshapes or restores the form of body. Although the term is usually associated with cosmetic products, it actually includes a broad range of practical operations, including reconstructive surgery, craniofacial surgery, burn treatment, and more. In many cases, people with body dysmorphic disorder will seek out multiple plastic surgery procedures and are usually unhappy with the results. Now, what exactly do we mean by body dysmorphic disorder? It is a mental illness characterized by obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. The causes are unknown, but abnormalities in brain structure, genetics, and environment factors plays a role in it. Symptoms include frequent examination of appearance in the mirror, comparing their appearance to other people, avoiding social events and photos. Other symptoms include seeking dermatological treatment or cosmetic surgery, avoiding social events and photos, excessive grooming, restricted eating, anxiety, depression, compulsive behavior, etc. In today's world, social media has become an integral part of our lives. We share our thoughts, experiences, and pictures on various platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. But with the rise of social media, we have also seen a rise in the desire to look perfect. The pressure to look perfect has led to an increase in body image issues among young people. They are constantly comparing themselves to others on social media, particularly influencers and movie stars, and this has a negative impact on their self-esteem. The next one, beauty filter. Social media platforms have created unrealistic beauty standards that are unattainable for most people. This not only includes the stereotyped skinniness but also flawless skin. In a bid to meet these standards, young people are turning to cosmetic surgeries, extreme dieting, and exercise regimes that are not sustainable or healthy. We have already discussed about this. Now let's look into beauty filters. Beauty filters or face filters have become a popular feature on social media platforms. A beauty filter is a feature on social media platforms and apps that enhances the physical attractiveness of the subject in a still photograph or in a video in real time. The use of filters and photo effects typically smoothens out the skin textures and revises facial features in proportion. For instance, enlarging the eyes, narrowing the nose, or making the skin appear fairer. The filter effect has negative implications on mental health. Studies have shown that the use of beauty filters can lead to body dysmorphia too. Additionally, the use of beauty filters can create a distorted perception of reality, making individuals feel inadequate without them. It can lead to dependence on filters, creating a sense of anxiety while taking pictures without them. Furthermore, beauty filters can contribute to the normalization of unrealistic beauty standards, creating a cycle of comparison and self-doubt. In fact, the constant need to look perfect has led to an increased facial dissatisfaction, eating disorders, depression, and anxiety among young people. Now, let us discuss some very destructive eating disorders that stems through such extreme measures of enhancing beauty. Eating disorders are serious health conditions that affect both our physical and mental health. These conditions include problems in how we think about food, eating, weight and shape, and in our eating behaviors. Most eating disorders involve focusing on too much on weight, body shape, and food. This can lead to dangerous eating behaviors. These behaviors can seriously affect the ability to get the nutrition in our body. Eating disorders can harm our heart, digestive system, bones, teeth, and mouth. They can lead to other diseases as well. They are also linked with depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicidal thoughts and behaviors. If not treated effectively, eating disorders can become long-term problems, and in some cases, they even cause death. The most common eating disorders are anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder. Both anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa were first clinically described in 1979. Moreover, it is widely agreed that the number of subclinical eating disordered individuals is now vast, and that the cases identified and treated are only the tip of the iceberg of eating pathology. People are usually diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia during their teenage years or early adolescent years. It can affect men and women of all ages, with women being more prone to such illness. With that said, let us discuss the first disorder, that is anorexia. It is defined by persistent restriction of energy intake, intense fear of gaining weight, and disturbance in self-perceived weight or shape. Anorexics suffer from a fear of fatness and relentless effort of thinness. One may view anorexia as an extreme case of dieting. This willful refusal to eat, leading to extreme emaciation, is a circumstance which many find mystifying and beyond their own life experience. It is one of the deadliest mental disorders which is seeing a rise among women. We can view it from various theoretical point of views. First, the identity theory. The self contains collection of identities, each based on occupation of a particular role and having a role set of associated meanings and expectations for the self. According to the identity theory, women and men who adopt a stereotypical feminine and masculine gender roles in Western culture will be influenced by the meanings and expectations of those particular roles. Depending on how deeply these expectations are internalized, people will likely modify their behavior so that they coincide with the behaviors expected of culturally determined stereotypical female or male. Second, the social cultural theory. It argues that the pressures on women to have a slim body is responsible for anorexia among them. Third, the individual psychodynamic theory. It focuses on individuals' struggle with their self-esteem and identity. Fourth, medical theories like the developmental psychobiological theory focuses on the need to stop the changes of puberty through starvation and to further avoid the turmoil of growing up. Fifth, the primary hypothalamic dysfunction theory proposes a biological disorder of unknown origin as responsible for this illness. Common to all these theoretical models is the fundamental role that dieting has in the evolution of anorexia. Moreover, the consequences of dieting, many of them direct products of the psychological and psychological effects of starvation, are important preparators of anorexia and serve to intensify dieting and in turn weight loss. Now, we will discuss about the consequences of anorexia. Anorexia causes an increase in serotonin. Serotonin is a chemical produced by our body for the nerve cell and the brain to function. However, excessive production of serotonin may lead to a mild shivering, diarrhea, muscle rigidity, and high fever, and will need immediate medical attention. Excess dieting and eating disorder also leads to change in behavior, emotional and cognitive change as well. Due to intensified and extreme dieting, self-induced vomiting, and preoccupation with shape and weight, as well as binge eating, the body is denied the essential nutrients it needs to function normally. These include cognitive changes, altered behavior, and changes in emotional state. Anorexia can also be said to be a struggle with own identity, competence, and effectiveness. It is a life-threatening illness and is associated with numerous medical complications. Mortality rates for this disorder are the highest of any psychiatric disorder. The next one on the list of disorders is bulimia or bulimia nervosa. Bulimorexia is a dietary chaos syndrome. which involves the ingestion of a prodigious quantity of food in one or more eating binges, which is usually followed by attempts to purge oneself so as to get rid the body of the food. Bulimia, which is derived from a Greek word, is characterized by episodes of overeating or binge eating in which a person may consume food more than the recommended daily food allowance. Binging involves eating food sometimes at an extremely large amount in a short period of time. During binging, people feel like they have no control over their eating and they cannot stop. After eating, due to guilt, shame, or intense fear of weight gain, purging is done to get rid of calories. Purging is mostly done through vomiting, laxative, or diuretic abuse. Thus, two of the most prominent behaviors of bulimia are binging and purging. Bulimia is directly the result of rejection and societal pressure to be thin, which is high amongst women. Bulimia can also result from anorexia. This behavior of binging and purging alters the brain structure, metabolism, and neurochemistry, which makes it difficult for individuals to discontinue the behaviors. Binging and purging can turn out to be a vicious circle where people further indulges themselves into escapism from the social standards of beauty set by the society to which they might live up to. Now we will discuss about the consequences of bulimia. The regular binging and purging caused by bulimia can have impact on the entire digestive system, which leads to electrolyte and chemical imbalances within the body. It causes irregularity in heartbeats and failure of the heart. Frequent purging can cause dehydration, which makes the muscles weak and causes extreme fatigue. Bulimia also causes low blood pressure, a weak pulse, and anemia. In women, bulimia can interfere with the menstrual cycle or stop it altogether. Researchers indicates that while anorexia is associated with increased levels of serotonin, bulimia is completely opposite of it. As bulimia is also a mental health disorder, it also leads to depression, anxiety, apparent or obsessive compulsive behavior. Finally, we are going to discuss about the preventive measures of anorexia and bulimia. There is no sure way to prevent eating disorders, but we can take steps to develop healthy eating habits. Primary prevention should focus on eliminating the causes of such disorders. Here, the primary goal of reducing anorexia and bulimia is by understanding what causes eating disorders in the first place. Few of the primary reasons for the inception of such disorders may be due to the societal pressure, especially amongst women, to be thin. Cultural attitudes towards weight are inculcated in a child from a very young age by their family members, which later leads to development of eating disorder among them. Thus, it is important for the family to examine their own perception towards societal construction of food, weight, shape, so that their children do not become victims of such eating disorders in the process of becoming thin. The secondary prevention, on the other hand, should focus on reducing the cause that perpetuates eating disorders like dieting and purging. Thus, early detection and intervention is an important aspect of secondary prevention. It is of crucial importance to review every sign shown by an individual known to have an eating disorder and who shows higher risks of developing such eating disorders. The individual should immediately be made to approach someone for help, like a family member, peer, or a healthcare professional who may instrumentally help the individual to tackle the problem. Now, let us sum up all the things that we have discussed today. We began by the concept of social control and types that are formal and informal. Then we discussed about social control of body, factors linking bodies to social control. We discussed about point of views of various theorists including the feminist theorists. Then we discussed about the measures that are used to enhance bodily image, that is dieting, plastic surgery and beauty filters. Within the same topic, we also discussed about body dysmorphic disorder. Following that, we talked about eating disorders covering anorexia and bulimia in details. We discussed their meanings, theories, consequences and preventive measures. With that, we have come to the conclusion of this class. Thank you.